And hello. Welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast. We're here again. It's a Monday evening. It's kind of summer, a little bit summery, might be summery, depends where you are. But we're here to talk Premier League. It's all, the Euros is done. It ended how it ended. Gareth ended how he ended. It's a new dawn. There's hope. Everyone's got hope in their Premier League sides. So I've got to get today. What a selection I have. I have back on the podcast, on the Premier League podcast for the first time in far too long. Shah's here. She's taking a break from the rowdy rabble. How you doing, Shah?
Do you know what, right? I think the last time I did a Premier League podcast was when Manchester United beat Manchester City in the FA Cup. I was saying so much love for Bruno, and then Josh didn't let me back on. So I'm glad he's not here now, and I'm glad I finally got back.
Shah brings brilliant Man United victories. Exactly. You're welcome back whenever.
Exactly. But I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm doing okay. It's kind of that annoying, warm, but not nice outside. So it's, there's rain, but it's just so hot in it. It's ridiculous. but it's all great. It's all great. And even better because you mentioned Man United winning the FA Cup last season. Which every now and then I forget about, and I go, oh yeah, I like that. That was nice.
I hope Simon's not in the chat and heard that.
I'm sure he will be. And before we do go to the chat, of course, it's not just me and Shah. It's Rebecca. Rebecca's taken a break from F1 this weekend to come back to talk football. How are you, Rebecca?
I'm very good. We'll not mention the F1. I think that was one of the most controversial races I've ever watched. But yeah, I'm really good. Glad to be back on, and it's going to be an exciting one with all of the transfer news.
There's many transfers going on. It's all starting to kick off. But we all go to the chat and we say hello to Spenny Fan Chris. Good evening, Spenny Fan Chris. He's our man in the know. He'll have the data. Don't you worry on these transfers. And hello as well to Lucy. Thank you for joining us, Lucy, as well today. We've got Jamie, and we've also got Simon. Missed it. It's gone. The FA Cup reference is done, Simon. It's over. It's gone. We're moving on. It's fine. It's okay. Simon and I are friends now, you see. We're friends. Coventry are going to have a good season. Football friends. Coventry are going up this year. I'm backing them. But anyway, we're here. That's for Thursday. Today is Premier League. We've got so many transfers starting to go on. We haven't really talked Premier League with what's been going on in the Euros. There's lots of manager changes going on. But I know, first of all, Rebecca, Everton. Let's start with Everton because Everton have been doing some stuff. You've sold some players today. You've got some money in the bank. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so the news brought today that we have sold Amadou Onana to Aston Villa, in which it's been a bit of an odd one, like with fans. I think it's divided them in terms of, I think the main thing he's remembered for now is that penalty. And I think from that point, fans were like, if he goes, he goes. It's one of them. But I do feel as though he is going to be a bit of a miss. He was one of our key midfielders, but we have started to bring in players, and I think we've got 50 mil for him now. So as long as we can use that to our advantage and reinvest it in, I think we've been linked with Gnonto from Leeds again. Don't know how many times and how many seasons we're going to be linked with him, but it's just never ending. But yeah, as long as we can reinvest that money, I feel as though it'll be a good one. I do feel as though we need a left back. The only left back we currently have is Mykolenko, and he's been linked with going elsewhere, which please, Everton, do not let happen. If that happens, I will go into like a few weeks of mourning and you won't see me on the podcast. Just a quick warning.
Everton, don't do it. We need Rebecca on the podcast.
Don't do it. We don't want Mykolenko mourning.
I mean, you can talk at Crinton, no? You can come on Thursdays.
Yeah. Just see me there in my Mykolenko shirt with tea.
Please come back.
Yeah.
Doing some poaching. Sorry, Sam.
Crack on. There's no plan for these summer podcasts. We just let it fly as it flies. 50 million is not a bad price. I know he's 22, isn't he? So there's a lot of is there anybody in the squad that you think we're all right, or do you need to reinvest in that position? Do you think there's anybody ready to step into that DM role?
I'm really not sure. I feel as though that is one that we are a bit lacking with. I mean, we've got Doucouré and he can play in that position, which is, I think he's like always stand out near enough every season now. It is one that we are struggling with, and I know with the releasing of quite a few under-21 players, I mean, Lewis Warrington was one that I thought would have been a great player to slot into that position if we were to lose Amadou Onana like we have, but he's one that we have let go, which is a real shame. So I do think we need to strengthen, but with the likes of, I apologise for pronunciation now, I have been listening to as many ways as I can pronounce them. We have brought in Tim, I've written it down, Tim Iribuman, who we've got from Villa, who's a midfielder, so that's a young, exciting prospect that we've brought in. And then we've also got Iliman Ndiaye, who we have got from Marseille, who did spend time with Sheffield United. So we have started, and of course Jack Harrison back on loan, so we have started to strengthen up the midfield, but I do think the role that Onana played is going to be one that we miss. And he did, I've seen one comment saying he did have big boots to fill in the terms of Tom Davies leaving, which he was quite a good one for us, and it was a case of could Onana fill that role, because we have had Tom Davies for such a long time, and I do feel as though he did do the role that he needed to, so we do need someone to step in to try, and I feel as though that's one of the positions that we really need at Everton.
Yeah, a couple of players coming in. And Dye's an interesting one because he was really good at Sheffield United, doesn't he? That season, but it was odd. Sheffield United kind of went up, and I think they had to sell him with their finances, but it really weakened them coming into the Premier League. So I think everyone expected he was going to stay, and then he went to Marseille. It didn't work out. So yeah, he's an interesting one. Charles, what do you think? Onana to Villa. What do you think? Because obviously Villa have lost David. I always call it David Luiz. Don't know why. It's just rolls off the tongue. Douglas Luiz, of course, has gone to Juventus. So for a similar kind of fee. So do you like that transfer for Villa, Champions League, Onana?
I do, to be honest. Obviously, I was a massive fan, of Douglas Luiz, to be fair. I think I said it all last season. Some other football fans were a bit, I don't know what to think of him, but I really did like him, and I think he was a very creative player. And obviously we saw him score, we've seen assists and everything. I don't want to say it because everyone laughs at the way I pronounce his name. Onana.
Onana.
What's my name?
It's the Agadoo Rihanna remix now. Amadou. What's my name?
But yeah, I think with Onana, I can't help but laugh now.
God.
I know it's Josh. He's caused it.
Just call him with their new defensive midfielder.
Yeah, with their new defensive midfielder, I think he will do a job. To be fair, I know he's been linked previously with a few clubs in the Premier League. I think Manchester United were one as well. I know they're linked to everyone, aren't they? Yeah, but I do think he could be a perfect fit for Aston Villa, and I think he'll do well. I really do. I quite like him as a player. I know with Everton, and as Rebecca said, it's like it's kind of split and things, but I do actually think there's a player in him, and I think obviously he'll flourish with the rest of the players at Aston Villa as well, because I feel like with Emery, he's doing a lot, and he's doing a lot of positive things as well. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with that signing. I am.
It says, 22. He's in the Belgian Euro squad as well. So he's just
I didn't realise how young he was.
Yeah, he's been with you a couple of seasons, Rebecca. Was it you signed him from France? Was it Lille or somewhere like that? They usually produce some good players.
I think we've had him for 2 seasons. And a fun fact, I shared my birthday with Amadou Onana.
There you go. Stat of the week.
For any people like me, Rebecca, and the translation is Onana. for all you people like me.
No.
I can't help it.
Can't help it. And he has indeed moved to Aston Villa today. That is confirmed. We've just in the chat, Simon is he's found you a left back. Leighton Baines out. He can do a job. He can still whip in it. I bet he can still whip in a set piece.
Oh, I'd be so happy having Leighton Baines back, as much to have Baines back.
He was always in my fantasy team.
Oh, Baines.
Always in my fantasy
he was
team.
so good for assist points, wasn't he? If only it was like American sport, we could bring on a sub, just like a kicker or something. Just have him as a free kick taker. Still useful.
have him and Coleman seen out like the last season at Goodison as left and right back would be the dream combo, I think.
It probably would be until a bunch of 19-year-old wingers turned up
God,
for the opposition, and then you'd be worried about their knees snapping in half.
Just on the subject of Aston Villa as well, sorry, I think is it Moussa Diaby who's been linked with a move to, I think it's a Saudi team as well. I think he's been linked recently. Fabrizio put it as well, so it's a good sign.
There's been a lot of talk about him today, about Diaby. I think I want to say Al Ittihad, I think, one of the Saudi team, the one that plays in yellow, I think.
Yellow and black.
Yellow and black, that's the one. That's an interesting one because they signed him last season. They've made a bit of money on him, but he was very good for them last season. But Villa they've made a lot of changes in those kind of wide positions. They bought Morgan. I think it's because they like Morgan Rogers, isn't it? I think they think Morgan Rogers and Bailey was fantastic last year. I think we said like one of the best per 90 goals and assists when he
loved him.
Premier League. He was superb. They've also bought in, I think, they've got is it Philogene back, the guy that was at Hull? They sold him last season and bought him back again. And Dobbin, he's more of a winger, isn't he? And Samuel Elung Jr. apparently they're loving a winger, so they probably did have to remove one. I know Diaby kind of mixed, didn't he? But
I don't want it being like Forest 2.0 again, do it?
Exactly.
Players meeting a new player every day.
Bring in the buses. Players going on. Villa have done by far, I think, the most business because you've got. I've got on my list here. This is in euros because the website uses in euros. 170 million euros, and they've recouped 90 million euros at the minute. So they've spent probably about as much as everybody. Alongside that, also Ian Maatsen as well, the left back, Chelsea left back that was at Borussia Dortmund as well. So they're certainly looking to bolster the squad for Champions League. And also, Shah, another one I know that you were impressed with last season. Ross Barkley's gone there on a free transfer as well from Luton.
I like that signing. I really like Ross Barkley. I think he's got the experience as well. Obviously, he's played Everton. He's been at Chelsea, obviously Luton. And I was one of them last season with him at Luton. I think he really, really did a job. And I don't think he got as much credit as he deserved, Ross Barkley, for that. I thought he was exceptional there. It was just a shame, obviously, what happened and Luton got relegated. But yeah, I think that's a massive signing for them. And what I do like with Aston Villa is the fact that they are getting these experienced players who have this experience in the Premier League. And obviously you've still got John McGinn and players like that. But then also Emery is bringing these young players on and he's like trusting them. And I do really like that about Emery. And yeah, I think Aston Villa will have another good season next season. Said it, clip it.
Said
it last season.
She's continuing the back in.
Flying the flag. Even as well to Heather.
Heather's joining us in the chat. She's disappointed that Scott Parker, Morgan Rogers, Scott Parker got rid of him. That is a miss because he looked very good when he came on for them last season. They've also bought a defensive midfielder, there's some names, I tell you. People are buying some names this year. Barrenechea. Enzo Barrenechea, an Argentinian DM they've bought as well, and Cameron Archer from Sheffield United as well, a striker they bought in too. So doing plenty of business. Douglas Luiz, you said going the other way. They also had that little funny kind of romance with Chelsea before anyone else was doing transfers before the end of the FFP window. I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. There's a player, there's some money, we're all good. No one saw any of that. It's fine. It's all fine. Where else shall we go to next? Where else has done some? Spenny fan Chris is telling us Newcastle have signed 4 players, decent from the Toon as well so far as well.
Ooh.
Let's just have a look, see who I've got on my list for Newcastle. What have Newcastle done? Of course, one problem Newcastle got at the minute is everybody's talking about their manager. We won't talk too much because we've done Gareth Southgate to death over the summer. But of course, there is an England manager vacancy. Eddie Howe is one of the babes, I think. I think it's probably...
Aren't the owners set to leave as well, I've heard? Is it a couple of...
Dave Lee and the other one's gone, haven't they, I think?
Yeah.
So interesting times at Newcastle. They've signed Lewis Hall, from Chelsea, who they had on loan last season. They for 30-odd million. They've got Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth on a free. Yeah. John Ruddy from Birmingham City they bought 2 goalkeepers. Ruddy from Birmingham, and the guy from Nottingham Forest with the name that I struggled to pronounce last bloody transfer. He moves every transfer window, this bloke, the Greek guy. Odysseus Vlachodimos, I think. I remember struggling with him on transfer deadline day last move. He's now not allowed to move. Not allowed to move for the next 6 transfer windows.
For deja vu next season, won't it?
If we get to January transfer window, or he goes out on loan or somewhere, I'm going to hit the
Let's
season.
hope he doesn't go down the divisions. So I have to say it, because I will butcher that name.
You wait till he signs for Bristol City and then on loan in the window. Yeah, Vlachodimos is there. And then out, Elliot Anderson's gone to Nottingham Forest for 41 million euros. That's quite a price.
Wow.
And they've also sold a right winger, Yankuba Minter, who someone they bought in the last window we didn't see either. So there's a lot of players, that young players that are going that we've not really seen going for big value money. It's crazy.
We'll go me next season, Newcastle. I just think I think last season in particular, injuries didn't help them. I think obviously with Callum Wilson as well, you've got to keep him fit. Don't get me wrong, they've got the likes of Anthony Gordon and these players like Harvey Barnes is there as well, isn't it? Is it Harvey Barnes? Yeah. We've got players like that, but I think the struggle was last season keeping them fit. Obviously, there was a lot of pressure on Eddie Howe as well because they had the season before where they were obviously exceptional. And then obviously with these owners going, they're having to sell players. I just think they'll struggle a bit next season. I don't want them to because I do really like Newcastle, but I just have a massive feeling that it won't be the Newcastle that we've seen in previous seasons. And I think there'll be a lot of pressure on Eddie Howe. And maybe there's going to be a lot of pressure quite soon. And then maybe he'll come to England.
Maybe. I think there is pressure on them now because last season everyone knew they had Champions League and they kind of accepted the defensive injury situation. I think as where was it? I saw Heather said as well, Lloyd's already injured. What are Newcastle doing with their centre backs? Because it seems like it's just an absolute poison chalice to be a centre back at St James's Park at the minute. So there's another injury there. It could be interesting. Could be dangerous for Newcastle if they don't get a start. The England's rumours will continue. I would imagine there's still going to be some potential interest in Isak somewhere. I can't believe that someone big isn't going to come in. Not saying Newcastle not a big club, but you know what I mean. Someone, I think at some level, I think he's as good a striker as in Europe. That kind of level. I'd be surprised.
Still a couple as well who I don't know how true it is because obviously it is just transfers, but I've seen a few clubs interested in Anthony Gordon. But like I said, I don't know how true it is because rumours fly around all the time, don't they? But I think it was Liverpool, one of them. And I can't remember the other one.
Rebecca's face. Have you got a sell-on clause there? I can see, is there a sell-on clause? You're thinking,
I don't think he'd go there anyway because of
I hope we do have a sell-on clause, but if he goes to Liverpool, I do not see him surviving a Merseyside derby again. I cannot see that happening. The boos when he plays against us for Newcastle and when we beat them 3-0, Gordon What's the score ringing round for a good half an hour at the end was very entertaining. So if he was to go to Liverpool, do not see that working.
Fabrizio didn't put it though, so it's not happening.
It's Fabrizio or David Ornstein. They're the two I listen to. Once that happens, they are the two dons. That's when you know a transfer is happening. I'm going to get the chat because this chat confused me very quickly for a minute. But say hello, lovely. So I'm from Leeds United. That is, of course, Michael. Brilliant. Hello, Michael. Thanks for joining us. Do check out Michael's channel. Fantastic on Leeds United and all other clubs going on during the summer as well. But I was reading this in order because it said, hello, lovely. He's 19. Hi, Sam. just confused me. So thank you. I'm not 19, but thank you very much. And then I read the one above, and it was Spenny Van Chris talking about transfer for Newcastle, of which another one. For goodness' sake, can we not? Where's the Steve Adams of this one? Miodrag Pivas is the latest signer for Newcastle from Serbia club Jedinstvo. Okay. Fair enough. Rebecca, what do you know about Miodrag Pivas?
That they've signed him from Serbia club.
Excellent, brilliant. Now we know. Now we all know. Rebecca has announced it. It must be official. we've got Heather is also saying Mark McAdam is a good one too. Accurate. Yeah. Did you remember they used to have a tier list? There was like a tier list, and they said there was like the dons, and then different sort of levels, and then you get the spam accounts who have seen Peter Crouch in 700 chip shops on on the final day of transfer window. Hello as well. Early Doors Football TV. Big up Absolute Football Show. I'm back first time watching you guys. Good show. Thank you for joining us as well. Who wants to pick a club? Who wants to pick a club next?
I know Chelsea have been doing a bit of business and have linked.
Of course they have.
People. Obviously, Chelsea have. I think they've told, is it Chalobah as well? But I think they've not took him on pre-season, and he basically said that he can go and find another club because there's no plans for him. Like there's no, which is
Sorry,
isn't it?
Do you reckon they told him he just turned up at the airport and was like, it was like everybody else with the problem with Tui the other day. There's no seat for you.
I've noticed as well with Chelsea, they are getting young players again, similar to what they did last season, obviously with Pochettino. I think like last season as well, though, and I know every manager is very under pressure at Chelsea due to like the expectations and things there. But I cannot remember his name. It was Leicester's manager last season.
Maresca.
That's the one. And I just think he will be under masses of pressure because obviously it's a step up, and Chelsea, obviously for what happened last season and with Pochettino. But yeah, they've been linked to quite a few players. I think they've made an approach for Villarreal's Philippe Jorgensen. He's a goalkeeper, so obviously Sanchez, I don't think there's many plans for him. I know a lot of Chelsea fans weren't very happy with him last season either. When he signed him from Brighton, didn't they? Yeah,
I didn't quite. I think he had a period in it, and then Kepa came in for a bit as well, didn't he? That's how desperate they were.
Yeah. I'm just having a look now because they've been linked to that many players.
They've got so many. I've got
Caleb Wiley, is it
Caleb
as well?
Wiley, a young left back from MLS. Atlanta do produce some decent talent, or they nurtured young talent, because there's also one of the guys who's in the Argentinian national team. Is it Thiago Almada? I think he's potentially he's gone to Brazil, but he may well come to Europe as well. So there's one or two. They seem to potentially. I think the last one that came to Premier League, I think Almiron came from Atlanta United actually. So who knows? It's another youngster from Chelsea we probably won't see. He'll go off on loan and then be sold in a couple of years. Who knows?
As well, it says here they've apparently gone and presented the project to a Brazilian talent. Is it Gabriel Meck? Is it Grêmio, the team?
Oh, Grêmio, yeah. Is it Grêmio? I don't know. Grêmio.
I nearly said Grêmio from Plebs. I nearly said it. That's why I had to double check. I don't know if you saw me really concentrating. I made sure, honestly, that's what I had in my
head. I think they've also done deals that I've got them done as they've done Dewsbury Hall from Leicester City.
Of course, I did,
This is an interesting one. They bought Amari Kellyman from Aston Villa. There was another one, 22.5 million youngster, 22.5 million euros, sorry. Mark Gui from Barcelona for sort of a low value kind of deal as well. And they've also gotten a free Adebayo from Fulham centre back. Which will be I think that's a decent addition actually. I think
that's quite good. Yeah. He's pretty solid, to be fair.
He's pretty solid, sort of younger defender, isn't he? Now Thiago Silva's gone, so that's interesting. On the other side, they've got rid of Ian Matson, Lewis Hall, Amari Hutchinson, which Ipswich Town fans will be absolutely delighted with because he was excellent for them last season. And then they've got Thiago Silva obviously went on a free, and Ziyech's gone to Galatasaray. He was on their loan layer last season anyway. So the chat are selling to us, of course, we say, evening to Glenn as well. Thank you for joining us, Glenn. What Premier League club will Somerville end up at, do you think? Anyone have a punt where Somerville's going to end up?
It's where we always get linked with him. He's another one. There's something with us on Leeds.
You love a bit of Leeds, don't you? Yeah, it's Harrison and Nonto and Somerville and I could see it. Maybe bit of dice ball. Bit of Dorish roll. Early Doors TV's Gree Mio. And Jen says you'll get used to her not saying them right. Another question from the chat. Do you think any big names from the Premier League will move to Saudi Arabia before the transfer window? There's a big name being linked to Saudi Arabia.
I know. There's another one as well, isn't there? The keeper. Obviously, Edison's been linked. And do you know what made me laugh the most? Apparently, is it this is what I mean about pronunciations because my northern accent. Me and Saudi do not go together.
Alan Shearer.
Is it Al Ittihad again? I'm sure they've been linked to Edison. And what made me laugh the most is there was reports, and apparently they've said they don't want a big name goalkeeper, but the two targets are Donnarumma and Edison. And I'm thinking, hey, go for Louis Molden.
You've gone for big names in terms of quality keepers and length of name as well. So you've doubly lost on that value.
But obviously De Bruyne as well, innit?
This is it. Tranmere Rovers show hello to him, of course. Barry Joe, as he's known from the Thursday show.
Yes, Joe.
Barry Joe's here to yeah. Kevin De Bruyne is the one to.
Yes.
I mean, Pep does kind of pick the moments, and I did wonder: is this the season that we're going to see Kevin De Bruyne moved out? I mean, Rebecca, do you think it will happen? And if it does happen, I don't want to ask a question because I hate that. How's he rank in the best? You know, there's always those discussions. It's so hard to rank. But is in your era, is De Bruyne one of the best midfield players you've watched in the Premier League?
Yeah. For me, De Bruyne is one of the best, if not the best for me. I mean, you can see the talent he puts in and you can see how much City do end up missing him when he is out for the long periods he has been. It's like just a skill and he just seems like natural talent. He doesn't even seem like he tries that much. It just happens naturally for him. I don't want to see him go to Saudi. I feel like he's still got a bit of time left in the Prem. And I do want to see, carry on watching him in the Prem, but it is what it is with Saudi. I mean, if you go, you go. But it would be sad to see him leave the Prem because I do think he's one of the biggest names at the moment and one of the most talented. So it's I enjoy, as much as I hate it, I enjoy watching him against Everton, even if he is putting 5 or 6 past us one time, which you just expect. But it's he's one that if he does go, he will be missed in the Prem. So it'll be a hard one. But Saudi at this point, I think everyone's the same with it.
Yeah, you can see the end of someone coming towards the one's not the end of his career. I mean, let's say he's still got some years left, but that level, the level that De Bruyne plays at, it's going to be difficult to maintain. The thing I've always loved about the way De Bruyne plays, I used to play kind of in midfield. So for me, I always loved the pass, the weight of a pass, the shape of a pass. And he's always been really good at that first kind of whip ball round a defence in the gap. But the thing for me that he does it better possibly than I've seen anybody do it. I mean, obviously I grew up in a David Beckham era where he could whip a ball, but De Bruyne does it at full pace. When he's running full pace, when it's slow and it slows down, he can do it. But De Bruyne does it at that absolutely on the limit, and it's perfect every time. He's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, yeah, he's no Louis Barry. Of course, he is no Louis Barry, as we know. Hopefully coming back to Stockport. Has that deal happened yet? There was rumours of it last week.
Yeah, she thinks it's going to be happening early August, I think she was saying, Claire. So fingers
selfish. Why can't they do it for Thursday in time for our EFL preview show?
Exactly.
That would have been Thursday at 6 o'clock.
On our toes.
Yeah. Yes. Get us ready, get us sorted. And of course, thank you, Early Doors Football, for reminding me. Yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Like us. And Angel gets its wings, as Josh says. And we are getting ready for the new season. And we will be promoting Shah's EFL show on Thursday later on, which is very exciting. Some stuff coming up there. But we're still talking transfers. We've also got Spain fan Chris, didn't know Rory Delap had a son who was playing football and he signed for Ipswich from Manchester City. Yeah, he has it. Liam, isn't it? Liam Delap, I want to say. So,
good player as well.
What do you think of Ipswich coming up and stuff they've done? Obviously, we mentioned Mari Hutchinson. They've also brought in, Liam Delap from Manchester City. They've done a goalkeeping kind of switch with Burnley because Sladke's gone to Burnley and they've got Murich in. So they've got Murich in goal. And Jacob Greaves as well has come in from Hull. Do you think they've splashed the cash. They've spent around 60 million, between 50, 60 million already on transfers. Do you think it's a slightly different approach? Luton didn't spend that much money, did they, when they come up? But do you like what they've done so far, Shah?
Yeah, to be honest, they're kind of they're not going. I know they've spent that amount of money, but it's for quite decent players, what suit obviously their style of play and things like that. And I'm really interested to see how McKenna does play football. Well, not him himself, but sets him up to play football, because as we saw last season, and obviously the style of play Burnley were playing, and now Vincent Kompany was quite stubborn, and we mentioned that, and we mentioned like the no fear Luton kind of football now. So I'm really interested to see like a brand new team coming up and how they can obviously, if they're going to change their dynamic and what they're going to do. But from the transfer perspective, I think it's quite a decent window, to be fair. I think with McKenna and his contacts as well, I'm not writing him off to obviously get a couple more players. So yeah, I'm really interested in Ipswich, and I feel like they are going to be my Luton this season, you know, the underdog kind of, and just really happy to see what they do. And I think there'll be a few surprises along the way where they'll get results against some of the bigger clubs. And I just always love this story, like going into the season like a championship team you don't expect going up. And yeah, I'm excited to see Ipswich. I really am.
I think everyone's going to be on that Ipswich. They are definitely going to be the new Luton, I think, next season. Are you going to be behind them, Rebecca, singing Ed Sheeran songs all the way to them surviving in May?
Well, they do have an ex-Everton player in Nathan Broadhead playing, so
yeah, of course they do.
Do keep an eye out for Ipswich. I've already said this. Put money on Broadhead to score against us, because I feel as though that happens with every single player that leaves Everton. I mean, it happened with Josh King. He went on, he did nothing for us and went and scored a hat-trick against us in his first match for, I think it was like Watford. I swear every player that's ever played for us will score. So, but yeah, in terms of Ipswich, for them to be able to keep as much of the core team that they have, and then to just add in what they have, it is quite exciting for them. And I do feel as though I agree massively with Charlotte in terms of like the way that McKenna can get and play in. It is going to be an interesting one, and they are going to be ones to like not overlook in the Prem. And I feel as though you can't go into that match thinking, oh, they're newly promoted, like we're just going to be able to pass them about and that's it, like we'll get an easy win. And I think that is how some teams could go into the match, but they're a force to be reckoned with, Ipswich. They are a very exciting team, and I do feel as though they are going to have a good chance of staying up.
Yeah, Socrates has said to us that Ipswich do have fairly wealthy backers as well. They want to spend carefully, which is a better business model than most. Absolutely. Tremor Evershow says Connor Chaplin, what a player, and believes that all three teams that come up will stay up. The three teams that went down are the teams that went down. Who's the most likely to stay up, do you think, of the three so far?
Who was it again?
Leicester, Saints, and Ipswich.
I'm going to go Ipswich, me.
Yeah.
I went Luton last year, so I feel like I've got to stick with my guns and go Ipswich.
Yeah, I think just looking at Leicester's business, they've got Fatagu's come in on a permanent, so they wanted that in. They've got young centre midfielder Michael Golden from Chelsea, Bobby Reed from Fulham, can do bits, but I think Southampton. I think Southampton have got a fair bit of money to spend if they can spend it and wisely. And I do think that the only thing I see with Southampton is the way that Russell Martin plays. I think is the right way to try and play, but will he get stuck a bit like Kompany did in the Premier League? Is my main concern, because they've got Harwood Bellis now they basically turned their loans into permanent in Harwood Bellis and Flynn Downs. Getting Flynn Downs is massive for the way that Southampton play. And then they want some youngsters, Nathan Wood off Swansea, Ronnie Edwards off Peterborough. So they're not I think they're doing it the right kind of way at the moment, bulking the squad out. They'll need to do more. I'd have said Southampton or Ipswich possibly. Leicester, now they've lost the manager as well. I think they've got a points deduction. Have they got the points deduction yet? Is that confirmed, or has that been official? I know there were talks about it.
Pretty sure it has.
Just hearing the
Sure
word
it
points
has.
deductions gives me flashbacks.
This is it. We can't mention points deductions in front of Rebecca.
I know you mentioned Peterborough, Sam. Swore. Do you remember last time someone mentioned Peterborough?
This is it. It all goes to pot from here.
I'm scared to speak now.
Points deductions for everyone.
Especially Peterborough. I'm joking.
Especially Peterborough. Spenny fan Chris asks, have Arsenal signed anybody, by the way? And it's already been answered in the chat. This was brilliant in the chat. The chatters, there are our informants and know what's going on. Of course, we all know that David Raya is made permanent after his loan spell. So they had David Raya's come in permanently. Socrates says they've also signed highly rated young goalkeeper Tommy Setford from Young Ajax and Lucas Nygaard. So they're doing some sort of smaller business. In terms of Arsenal,
I saw Tommy Asu's injured as well. I think he's got quite a bad injury, so he's missing pre-season.
He's missing pre-season. I also saw Aaron Ramsey's not gone on the tour. Oh, not Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsdale has not gone on the tour, hasn't he? Aaron Ramsey hasn't gone on the tour either. No, because he should be wherever Cardiff is, but maybe he's forgotten and he's gone off with the Arsenal boys.
Lads on tour.
Why has Ramsey not turned up for training? Oh, he's in America.
Chalobah's not allowed.
Chalobah's forgotten his passport. It's a right nightmare.
Maybe you could go Cardiff.
Yeah. This is why they need to do UK tours, you see, because it's easier to get people places. It's a right mess. It's a right mess. Arsenal have, they bought Raya, but they've got rid of Cedric Suarez and El Neni have gone on free transfers. Albert Sambi, is he still there with them? He's gone on loan to Sevilla. Albert Sambi Lokonga and Nuno Tavares. Those two are just going to be there forever, just loaned out until the end of their careers.
I can't remember who was linked with as well, but Nikita's been linked with someone. Is it Everton?
I've seen that today. He's been linked with us now.
That's who it is. I knew it was someone. I couldn't remember who. I knew it was Premier League.
It's because he once played for Leeds. That's what it is, Rebecca. They looked at his history and went, he had a loan spell at Leeds. He's our guy.
His dreams to play up front with Neil Maupay. Now we've got him back.
I love him now. He's an absolute for what he is doing on social media. So many people hate him. But I found a new love for Neil Maupay and just how he's been a shit house. I love it.
We've been saying that. Like, if he can take his shithousery off Twitter, put it onto the pitch, we have got a great player in Neil Maupay. Honestly, I think if he puts a bit of a shift in, I think he can turn the fans, because he's turned majority of them with how funny he is online.
He's so funny.
He could be a cult hero. That's what you need. Yeah. You need that kind of cult hero. Get behind him. Yeah. If Maupay stays with it, it could happen. It could happen. Definitely could happen. We've got Maupay, of course, was at Brentford last season. Glenn's worried about Brentford. He's worried about Brentford. Toney's still there, and Bremo's still there. They struggled a bit more last season. Have they done anything? They've lost their cult hero, their Twitter king, Maupay. They brought in a young Queen Maupay. Who's this guy? Sorry, I've got to read this in the chat. We're talking about Arsenal. Cedric and El Neni have been released, but Cauliflower is still waiting to be. I think, are we meaning Calafiore? Cauliflower. Barry Cauliflower.
That is the best thing ever.
God, please let there be a player called Cauliflower. That's just what you need for Thursday. It needs to be the vegetable 11 show.
I think cauliflower on your shirt.
Barry, oh God, the letters. You'd have to start from here.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
That's it, Calafiore.
Oh, I love that. That has gave me such a laugh. Thank you.
That is it, Calafiore. Brentford have done. So they've got a young striker in Igor Thiago, been playing in Belgium with Club Bruges. So again, a bit of an unknown to us. We don't know. And they've lost a few of their older players, like Shandon Baptiste has gone to Luton, Charlie Good. at the minute, the squad's the same. They're not really doing a lot. All seems to be quiet. So I guess it's a bit wait and see on Brentford's front. What kind of happens down the line?
It's like with Toney as well. I think the only thing stopping someone from getting Ivan Toney is obviously the English tax added on and how expensive is going to be, because I reckon a few clubs, I know he's been linked to Arsenal. I think Aston Villa was one of them as well. Aston Villa, United. I would have loved to see him at United though, because I do like Ivan Toney, to be fair, but I don't think that'll happen. I think
not now they got Xerxes. I don't think they're getting another one. No.
I think the thing is, everyone's like, link them with Manchester United, and it's kind of, it gets a bidding war then started, doesn't it? Even if United aren't even in for them, it's like, oh no, such a club's in for them, and it kind of spurs the next team on to put in the bid and whatever. But yeah, I think that's the only thing with Ivan Toney, just the price tag.
Yeah, I think the price tag's going to be a trouble for anybody to pick up Toney. Arsenal would make the most sense, I think.
Yeah, they're missing a striker, aren't they?
And you'd imagine they're still in business for one. I know they'd really love Isak, but I think that he's going to be priced way above what anybody's going to be able to do. But Toney, possibly, you might be able to get. Lucy's enjoying the cauliflower chants. There could be some cracking cauliflower chants.
What chant would it be?
Yeah, cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
It would be like that Norwegian game when they were chucking fish cakes on the pitch the other day because of the VAR. It'd be cauliflowers. Duck the cauliflowers. Talking of Ivan Toney, Socrates says the thing about Ivan Toney is that there's not many top clinical number 9 type forwards out there in world football, so that's just skewed his asking price even more. Yeah, that and obviously the Euros tax as well. He's got English tax and Euro 2024 tax, so now to try and get him would be tough.
I really want to see him see what he could do. And this is no disrespect to Brentford whatsoever. I do think they're a great club, but I'd love to see Ivan Toney go to the next level and see what he could do then, for one of your top 6 or top 10 clubs or something like that, because I think he could really kick on his career. It'd be interesting to see, because I really do rate Ivan Toney. I know he's had his troubles in the past with obviously his gambling addictions and things like that, but you can't take away what a great striker he actually is.
He's certainly quality. Early doors is saying he's been linked with Spurs, and what's that? Spurs would be a really good move that for Spurs. If Spurs could bring him in, that would be.
Do you reckon they'd pay it?
I don't know. I mean, they did do some last season. They did some good transfers, didn't they? Everyone they kind of went early. They got kind of the Madisons, and they were prepared to pay it. They've not done a lot, I don't think. They've not done a lot so far, so the kitty's probably there.
They want to free up some money, give us Richarlison back, and then they've got a bit.
They bought Archie Gray, haven't they? 40 to 35 million for Archie Gray, which is I think that's a good signing, to be fair. And then they've got a young guy from Swedish centre midfielder called Bergvall, who apparently has looked all right in pre-season. But potentially Tranmere Rovers show agrees. To see him at somewhere like Tottenham.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Especially obviously with Son, he's getting older now, he's getting slower and things like that. I think they need someone else and
need to manage it,
don't they? Yeah.
To manage that squad a bit, I think. And obviously now Harry Kane went kind of quite late last season, didn't he? So now they 100% can plan without what he's doing. Wait to Mr. Luke. Welcome to Mr. Luke as well. Thank you for joining us as well in the chat. Driti says Marseille just signed Pierre-Emile Højbjerg on a season-long loan with an obligation to buy. He's been at Tottenham for a few years. I think he's done a decent job for Tottenham. He's a bit of a workhorse, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't mind him. I quite like him.
He was good at Saints as well. So
yeah, he was.
What else have we got going on? Socrates talking to the tune of California Love by Tupac for Cauliflower. Cauliflower remix is going on.
Love it.
Love
Sorry,
it.
I do it. Can't find my bottle of water anywhere. I'm reaching and grabbing and I can't find it.
Can't find it. Where's it gone? What else have we got here in the chat? I'll come to this one gone then. Shall we move on to Manchester United? Simon's going in. United said they weren't going to overplay for players anymore. So in your opinion, is Euro worth 52 million? I don't think he's worth 52 million. I think for a youngster, that's a lot of money. It's a huge amount of money. I can understand why people are saying it's a risk. What I hear and what I see is I think he is a tremendous talent. So I'm excited that we've got a player. Excited that we've got, I think is going to be an interesting player. 52 million, you want more of a certainty, I think, but the market's a bit funny for centre-backs, I think, at the minute. You look at the price, as Rebecca will come on to, that we're being quoted for Brentford. It's huge money. But I think, in terms of said we weren't going to, I don't know where they weren't going to, I think what they were saying, overpaying for players more towards the back end of their career. There's clearly been a shift in the model in terms of trying to bring younger players, in trying to structure the deals a bit differently. Xerxes, we've seen, I think that deal was, we're paying over 3 years. There's more sort of on add-ons. Players were selling sell-on clauses. There's definitely a fundamental change. But we've only had as well, what's his name? Ashworth's only been in, I think, since July as well. So we're kind of at the start kind of situation there. As Lucy says, 42 and 10 million, it's add-ons. Exactly. United's the add-ons always get confused, particularly when it comes to sort of Twitter and announcements and everything. The add-ons are a big part of that. So I think, look, I'm excited by what I saw. I've seen a lot of people say because Madrid were involved and then Madrid pulled up, but Madrid were trying to do something very different financially on the deal, massively different on the deal, which was they were trying to get him for 25 million where he was going next season. Because at the end of the season he'd have been out of contract, and also the fact that Real Madrid are interested and Liverpool are interested tells me as well that their scouting guys think something in the team. They obviously don't rate him at the value that we do, and that's kind of fine. But no, I think I like the fact United have gone and done the business, because in previous seasons as well we faffed about and then end up paying more at the end of the window. They've gone in and gone, this is the guy, we think he fits what we want. Varane's already gone, so you've also lost a lot of wage off of that. And the other thing that no one's pointing at is United have done some business in the last week where they have recouped some money this season. We've recouped, we don't want to mention his name on the pod, but we've mentioned he should not be named. He's gone to France and they've got a fee for him. Willy Kambala went for sort of 10 million euros. They lost a left back's gone to Benfica for a little bit again with more add-ons, sell-ons and all the rest of it. So they have recouped some money. I think we've recouped maybe about 40 million, maybe 40 million to kind of help finance this. And they by no means have spent the most in net compared to anybody else yet. So there's Ten Hag said they now have to sell, I think, to buy again, particularly as they seem to want another centre-back.
Have you seen the latest rumours about Jadon Sancho being linked to PSG?
Sancho's really, because if you'd have said a month ago, every United fan would have said, we ain't seeing him again. He ain't coming back to Carrington, is he? He'll go off on holiday and he'll disappear again. And then it's all okay. They've had a cup of tea and a bit of cake, and Eric and Jadon are best mates again, apparently. And you're thinking, okay, so Jadon Sancho might be a thing. I think it's a good position to be in, because if PSG come in and Sancho played well, I kept saying it last season, everyone's going, Sancho's doing well at Dortmund. That's a good thing. Because one, he comes back to us and we get a player that's more confident and playing well and finding his feet, or he gets a transfer fee, both of which are what you want. You don't want someone going and doing a Donny van der Beek where they kind of don't do anything. Exactly. Sorry, I know he went to Everton, Rebecca, but I think you barely saw him, didn't you? He was injured.
He was, but he came back for the last match of the season and scored in our 5-1 loss to Arsenal.
There you go. So, Van der Beek's gone as well, just not for a lot of money, but finally he's off the book. So it's been. I'm pleased they've done the business and that he's in and he played the other day. So the fact he's straight in, he's obviously been keeping himself sort of well fit to get straight in, to have 45 minutes straight off the bat is positive. Socrates says, for me, Lenny Yoro is an excellent signing. The only issue with the fee is in the last year of his contract, but Lille leveraged the fact that every top club in Europe were interested. Exactly that, I think. Exactly that. I think that's fair. I think United, my view is that United have got a good player, very excited about what he could bring, and I think him and Martinez could be a partnership if Martinez can stay fit and he develops. But it's a lot of money for a youngster, so I can kind of see why people were questioning. But
am I right in saying as well that Wan-Bissaka's been linked to a move to West Ham, and if Fulham had a bid turned down for McTominay?
I've seen, Wan-Bissaka, there's been a couple of teams circling potentially around. I think there's question marks about whether he's going to stay there. Because Dalot obviously came through tremendously last season, so he's now kind of clearly number one. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka does do a job in certain situations, but he's probably going to want to be number. I could see him go back to Palace, to be honest. I think eventually that will happen with Wan-Bissaka. McTominay to Fulham, I think they turned a bit down because I think most Man United fans would be like, if the price is right, you'd accept it. They'd have to get somebody else in to bolster and to do.
Yeah, of course.
But to get a 35 million, 40 million bid for McTominay, he's 27 or 28, I think now. So, it's potentially might be the right time to move him on and see. I think McTominay's done a sterling job for us. I think he's limited in some aspects, but he does some things quite well.
Yeah.
So he would be great. I could see him working for a mid-table, even sort of top half team in that area.
Yeah,
I think McTominay
100%.
would be a great signing for somebody, to be honest. I think a lot of teams would be quite happy to have him. So, yeah, he's an interesting one. There's lots of links about him. Trevor said, thing is, you have to be careful with Sancho. You can't replace your Garnacho. I think you should sell Rashford. I like him, but he's terrible now. Garnacho is, you would imagine, a starter next season.
Garnacho.
Rashford's a big question mark. I don't know what's going to happen with Rashford. You've obviously got Anthony still there as well.
I saw that. I think his agent has come out with Anthony and said that he really wants to stay at United and prove himself. But I think there's possibility of him going out on loan. I don't know how true that is.
I think a loan. I know they spent a lot of money on him, so they'd kind of not want to do that. But you just got to look at the wingers now in the squad. So you've got, if Sancho's back, you've got Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Amad Diallo.
He's going to be massive this season, I think. I think he will be a really key player for United.
Very good and very interesting.
That pre-season friendly, obviously his goal on Saturday, was it? A really well-taken goal. And I think Ten Hag's actually came out and said that he's going to be like a key player this season.
I don't think he's going to be able to ignore him. United fans wanted to see more of him at the end of last season because every time he came on, he looked something different to what we'd had down that right. And obviously he had that magical goal against Liverpool, and he was sparingly used at the end of the season. So I do hope he gets his chance because I think he's earned an opportunity. He's earned an opportunity, and he's exciting to watch. George says, Anthony loan deal being looked at. Yeah. United should try and offload Anthony, in my opinion. Welcome to Cronky here as well, listening while working. Thank you for joining us this evening as well. Dreety's looking forward to seeing Ahmed next season. And someone says, send him somewhere he can learn to be a graceful winner. He's got to win first. So he's got to win. So where's he going to go and win? Who's going to take him on loan that's going to win after his performances last season? I think that's probably the biggest challenge. So that's Manchester United. Liverpool transfer news. That's the end of Liverpool transfer news. There is I'm looking at my sheet here, and there's nothing. Liverpool are very quiet. I know they've been linked with one or two. I know it's frustrating. I know I haven't spoken to Josh the other day. He's frustrated, very frustrated.
You can tell by his Twitter page. It's all about United. He tweets more about United than the official Manchester United Twitter account.
He doesn't. I think some of this you can tell as well over the summer. Like there's no games going on, and then everyone gets a bit like rivalry angry because of transfers and fees and add-ons, and you're just like, it's because there's no football to argue about. So we'd argue about the price of a loaf of bread if we could. I think, but I think he's frustrated. Liverpool are not doing a lot at all, and I think they feel they need to do some. What he said to me the other day is his understanding is that Slot is trying to analyse the squad before he does anything, and he's been there. They knew he was coming in since the start of the season, and some of those players aren't back for another couple of weeks. So I don't know if he knows that the season starts in 3 weeks. That's probably not the point you want to. I'll analyse when the season starts. Maybe it's a very different strategy. I'll analyse during the course of the season. Liverpool's lack of business must have fans worried. Socrates says Liverpool have had a number of players in early for pre-season training, live close and all through the European Championships. There's a lot of activity at the training centre. And they've still got, I know, people like Darwin Núñez are at Copa America, so there's probably a few still to come back. But what do you think, Rebecca? What do you think Liverpool need to do? It's difficult to say with like how Arne Slot plays, but what position would you be looking at for Liverpool that you think they need to strengthen?
I would say nowhere. just leave it as it is and see them drop down the league. I don't think I'm the one to ask that question.
Rebecca's heart is just wait for it all to collapse and fall down around you.
Sell Salah.
Yeah.
There we go. Maybe this is it. Rebecca's in charge of your recruitment. That's why nothing's happening, because they keep sending it to Rebecca and she keeps rejecting it. No transfers. Nothing.
Yeah, they can have Anthony Gordon. We can have him.
if Everton gets some money for him.
Yeah.
on the sell-on clause.
We get a bit more money, get another transfer in at Everton. It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's very quiet at Liverpool. I'm sure it won't stay that way, because last season they, to be fair, probably did as good a window as anybody. You know, I think everyone was saying McAllister, Szoboszlai, everyone was raving about those transfers, and it came through. McAllister was excellent last season. Szoboszlai dipped off a bit, but he's still young and probably will come again this season. So
I do really like him, to be fair. He's a good player.
He's a good player. I think they strike is still a problem, isn't it? They've got a number of those kind of players on the periphery, but I think they may have to move one of them on to get another win in, because you've got Gakpo, Jota, Darwin, Salah. There's another one as well I'm missing. Darwin, Salah, Gakpo, Jota, Luis Diaz, who he had some issues last season as well. Simon says, Sandy, really just asking Everton fan what Liverpool should do transfers? Yes, I did. And Rebecca gave me her honest answer. They should do nothing. Ronan Keating, you know it best when they do nothing at all.
Gakpo has the same performances that he did, obviously, in internationals. I think he'll come back a player, because I thought he really did stand out in the Euros, Gakpo.
Do you think they're playing down the middle this season, or do you think they want him off the left? Because they reckon he's better off the left, isn't he? And that was the problem. Luis Diaz was playing out there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. Could do, possibly. New manager, and obviously he sees his potential and things like that. I guess we'll have to wait until Slot analyses the squad, as Josh says.
This is it. If he doesn't do nothing, I'm going to have to start calling him Arnie Sloth, because there's nothing happening at any pace whatsoever at the moment.
Do you not think it's weird, though, talking about Liverpool and not talking about Klopp?
It's very strange.
I say Slot. Slot.
Jurgen Slot. Yeah, I've got used to. Yeah, it is weird, because now he's not at Liverpool. I'm enjoying him a lot more. I enjoy immediately. As soon as he left Liverpool, he did a TikTok about playing paddle, and I was really into it. I was like, I'm loving this post Klopp.
Did you see him go to that Taylor Swift concert in his shades and his pink cowboy hat?
He's now on. He's a bit like when Mourinho was manager of Chelsea and then he left, and you're like, oh, and now I like him. Now I can enjoy his personality.
What a guy!
Yeah, give him the England job.
It's like us with Morphe now, because we're seeing this banter aside to it. It's like, what a lad! That's what we've been wanting to see.
We can get on board. What you did in the past is forgiven. It's all right. It's part of your history. I get it, but just look forward.
Changed as a person.
Together. He's a new man. It's all changed completely. Early doors as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We're glad you enjoyed the show. And thank you for joining in the chat as well. You did fantastic tonight. So hopefully we'll see you again soon. Any other teams? Anybody else we've missed? Any other transfers? Anything you want to shout about?
There's rumours of Alvarez leaving Manchester City. And to be fair, I actually really respect the decision, because he doesn't want to be just a bench player. He wants to actually play football. And you think of the money, obviously, he'll be on at Manchester City, and obviously winning trophies and things like that. But I respect the decision that he actually wants to go out and play football, even if that does mean getting a move, because in this day and age, there is a few players who don't really necessarily want that, to be fair. So I actually really respect him for that. So I know he's been linked with a couple of other teams, but I don't think any of them are Premier League. I think it's like foreign teams, and I think Saudi's one of them as well, because you've got to link a player with a Saudi club, haven't you?
Chuck a Saudi in there. Chuck a Saudi bid in. Why not? Yeah, because Lucas, I think, says this as well. Technically, some of the stuff he does is better than Haaland. He's obviously not kind of
I've
as like
said
as
this
a
as well,
technical
yeah.
player in the position, and actually probably suits the team better. Obviously, Haaland's prolific, and you know what Haaland is, but there are certain aspects that Alvarez is very good. But I think he's also won it all already. He's only 22,
Exactly.
and he's won World Cup, Copa America, Premier League, multiple Premier Leagues now, Champions League, FA Cup. So why not? He's completed it. Maybe he's going to go and then
play, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Just
complete it all.
Yeah.
Go over to Italy, complete that. Spain, you know, it's like a game when you unlock achievements going down different areas of Europe. He wants to do it. Why not?
I know.
There is one he hasn't won, which Everton have, which is the Florida Cup. I mean, when you've got Gru and Minion and SpongeBob leading the teams out, you've hit your peak of football when you've got John Joe Kenny doing a Panenka.
We know where Alvarez is going now. He's not won it all now, Sam.
He's
the
missing
main one.
He's missing the Florida Cup, the Audi Cup, the
Get him in Bristol Street Motors Cup.
The Bristol Street. Yeah, he's not won the Bristol Street Motors Cup or the FA Trophy. Come on, Julian, test yourself.
Come to National League, Jules.
Rochdale loan, Jimmy McNulty, get on the phone.
Go on, Jim. It's cooking.
Sort him out. One thing I did see as well today, one team that has been doing a lot of business already, and they love to do a bit of business, is Brighton and Hove Albion. I don't know why I said it like that. Brighton. Brighton and Hove Albion have done some lovely business. They've I had a look at their squad. I think they need to remove some players though, because they're slightly high. They've got 42 players currently in their squad. I look at, which I think is a bit more than the 26, is it, man? Yeah. Squad that you have to. So I think you might be seeing some outgoings at Brighton. But we said earlier they brought in Yankuba Minta from Newcastle United. They also got Mats Wiefer from Feyenoord, who was supposed to be part of the Dutch midfield in the Euros, but he got injured. He was very good at Feyenoord, so he was under, I think, he was on the slot. Mm-hmm. So he's in, and they always pick up these little gems, don't they? So I always look at
their recruitment team
at Brighton and go, "Oh, what have they done here?" They've got Ibrahim Osman from Norgerland in Newcastle, and they brought in Arsenal youngster in Amarillo Kozia Dewberry. There you go. So watch these names because they always do something. Brighton always do something.
Watch these names because Chelsea will be buying them next season.
Chelsea are already putting the bids in as we speak. They're not missing. They're not.
I reckon they've got Brighton's notifications turned on Twitter.
Yeah,
and they get one, it automatically comes through.
And the Chelsea scout goes, "I've got a list of names here.
Just all in bookmarks."
Yeah. There's this lad from Brighton that I've seen is quite good. And then I was looking the other day and he plays for Brighton, this guy. He's quite good. And then he's got a permit. He's got a season ticket, isn't he, at the Amex? That's what it is. They loved it. We're also getting some other cups coming in. The Cheshire Senior Cup from Tranmere Rovers show. Mr. Luke says the Durham Challenge Cup.
I might be covering Alvarez next season then.
You might be.
This season.
It could be. Socrates and Kozia Dewberry's an interesting one. Andretti says they're Brighton on their pre-season tour in Tokyo. Yeah, they are. It's that Matoma's getting absolutely mobbed over there, apparently.
Love Matoma.
Yeah, Matoma's getting mobbed. So they've done some business. I think that's it. I don't think I've got anything else to add. I took quickly on Crystal Palace. Obviously, Michael Elise went to Bayern Munich over the Euros.
Yeah.
And I think the rumours are that Liverpool want Gahey, and there's rumours that obviously Esse as well. I like Crystal, and I like what Glasner did for them last season.
Yeah,
but I do worry for them a little bit with the fact that someone's going to decimate their squad if they're not careful, because I thought they did really well second half of the season. So it could be tricky for them. And I think that's it. I've got nothing else to add. No, nothing else to add. Just nothing to add. Great podcast. Nothing to say.
Bye, everyone.
Job done. Well, no, Rebecca has, though. Rebecca's come up with a transfer. What is it?
Oh, I've got two. We've got the lack of ownership of Everton now, which was announced on Friday. Honestly, our club, I don't know what's going on. We had that announced on Friday. You had our shirt falling to pieces in a 3-3 draw against Sligo Rovers on Saturday. But now we've got 50 mil, so yeah, it was...
You can re-sew the badges on. Get those ironed.
I've never known in a pre-season friendly, you're just going to get to stand there and the wind catches the badge and it's just like that off his shirt. Like, it could only happen to us. I think it could only happen to us. But yeah, the Friedkin group have said that they're not gonna take over Everton now because of the loans and the situation with 777. So they're currently going through like court proceedings for their financial situation, and they could like no idea what's going on with them, but allegedly they've secured loans on Everton and have put money into us. So the Friedkin group have gone, we can't really do that. Like, because we don't know what's happening with 777. So even though they're not a part of Everton anymore, they're still messing up what's going on. They have put the Friedkin group have put, I think it's like 200 mil into the club. So then we're able to finish building Bramley-Moore, and they are going to remain a lender at the moment. But apparently this happened the exact same with Roma. So when they were trying to take over Roma, there was a similar situation. They let the situation die. They got the club for cheaper. So we feel as though they could be waiting for 777 to go into like liquidation. So then that's sort of like cleared with us, and then they can get us for a bit cheaper. So we're thinking that they're biding their time with it, but it feels like it's one step forward and then 7 steps back with Everton now, because it just seems to be a never-ending situation that we're getting no clarity on. And it's just, we were told 1 minute you're being sold, it's been agreed and everything, and the next thing you know, you've got Farhad Mashiri coming out and saying, no, I still got the club and we're still in debt and everything's happening. So it's one of them.
Keys.
But then it's just an odd one, and I don't think it. If it gets sorted, it gets sorted. If it doesn't, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. As long as we've just got to kind of like grin and bear it as Everton fans, I guess, because it's like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. In last season with the points deduction, then you had everything that kicked off season before with the chairman, Bill Kenwright, and then the board. Don't think I've heard sack the board be sung so many times as Everton did. And it just became toxic at the end, and it's just one of them where we just want something to happen, and we're getting our hopes up. Next season we're moving to Bramley. It's our last season at Goodison, like we want to go out with a bang. And it just seems to be that all of this is just on top of us, and it is slowly like affecting fans. And it's just one of them, just get it sorted, please, because we want to enjoy a season without 10 points deducted to then go to 6 to then have 4 more deducted. We just want a season that we know we can perform, and we just want a season that we can enjoy, because we'd have finished, I think it was 1 point off top half at table last season. We wouldn't have had the stress of another relegation battle, and it's one of them, the stress it puts on the players, but then also the fans that are suffering because of all of this.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just need, at the end of the day, we need answers, we just need clarity, and we just need something to happen. So then we're in a financial situation that is good for the club and we can see a future happening, because at the moment it is a shambles, and we just want a bit of hope at the end of the day. I mean, we're not asking for much.
It's been a hell of a saga, hasn't it? One hell of a saga. And as you say, I think when you get that kind of hope of that light at the end of the tunnel, owners, and then to be dragged back, it's the frustration. You think, where are we going? I suppose that the only real positive is that you stayed up and didn't go down, because that would have been the ultimate disaster with the new stadium on the way, ownership issues in the Championship. Then it really would have questioned kind of the future, I guess, of the club. But the stability, I suppose, of Dyche and the way that the team played, because I thought Everton got a lot of unfair rep for their performances last season, because if you take the points deduction away, they would have done. They would have been sort of top half of the bottom, wouldn't they? They were playing really well defensively. They were solid, very solid. Some good players in there. Not great going forward, but defensively they were solid. And a frustrating time. So hopefully it gets sorted out. But it does seem it's a bit of a power struggle, and that those who leave don't want to leave and are making it difficult to leave, which is not what the fans want. The fans want a fresh start, I guess.
Because it also seems with like some of the players that we've let go, including Lewis Dobbin and Ben Godfrey, it's like it feels like they've taken one for the team. So then we are able to have the finances to avoid the points deduction and then to be able to keep the likes of Jared, which United have annoyed me on this one. Put respect on Jared's name is all I can say. Saying that we're holding you to ransom, we said from the start, he is not for sale. To then say, this one annoyed me, offer us Harry Maguire for Jared Branthwaite with 5 mil add-ons.
Fair. Can't see the issue.
Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. Goals at international level. You can't. That's 5 million a goal for those meaty headers. I was confused the other way because I don't get. I do get the outpour, but at the same time, I was like, you don't want to sell him to us. Yet you're annoyed because then we've gone and bought somebody else for a fee that wasn't quite as high as Brentford. Like, do you want to sell him or you don't want to sell him? Make your mind up.
Welcome to the mind of Everton fans. I don't think any of us know what we want, when we want, or how, but we find something
just angry about it. Yeah, you need to go elsewhere. You're not buying him. So we went elsewhere and they went, I can't believe they've bloody gone elsewhere and haven't. And it's like, what do you want from us? What do you want?
It's more like for me and like reading what Everton fans have been saying, it just seems to be right. So you felt like, oh, we can get Jared for cheap because of the shitty situation that Everton are in. So we'll just go in with this bid, which was insultive towards Everton and Jared. But then it's like the way United fans were speaking, they're like, if he was a foreign player, then they'd value him higher than he is. And I was just like, Jared, just leave the man be. But in terms of that, it's like, you've paid more than you offer for Jared for someone without Premier League experience. And I think that's what has got Everton fans riled up. But thanks to you, we're offering him a new contract now. So we could be getting him past 2027. I think he only signed one a couple of months ago for 2027 and we've put a new one in for him. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
You get the contract and you'll get your money from someone eventually. We might come back. If we can sell Anthony to Saudi Arabia for 140 million, we'll come back for Jared. How about that?
It's like Mudryk with the 8-year contract, isn't it? Branthwaite's now got 10-year one.
Imagine that. Branthwaite's on a 25-year contract at Everton.
Until he retires.
Yeah. They say, sorry, it was a typo. We weren't meant to put like 2028, 2029. No, it's 2089.
2089. It's for Jared Branthwaite and any offspring that he may have and the offspring his offspring may have, just in case they turn out to be any good.
The 6'5" left-footed centre-back causing chaos in the Premier League. It's just great that for once it's like an Everton player that he's getting the recognition that he deserves, but it's one of them, as like Sam, you said, we haven't been getting the credit that we deserve in terms of our positioning in the league, and which is one of the reasons why people were thinking that Jared wasn't called up to the England squad, is because he is an Everton player. If he'd have finished higher, then there was more of a chance, but it's like, we'll just keep him.
We'll just keep him.
Southgate.
This is it. Lucy says it's like an echo in my house. Obviously, it's saying what Sam's saying at the same time. There's been a lot of Branthwaite Euro chat this week on the socials, that's for sure. I've seen it everywhere. I like this from Tramorovich, so I want to bring this up. He's fantastic. He spoke to someone. He's got a brilliant analogy of what's going on, situation at Everton. So he used to work with Everton's most loyal fan, Billy. He's 70 on, described the current ownership situation as, it's all bollocks that I don't give a shit about. I just want to support my club. I think that about sums it up perfectly. I think that's a good way to describe it.
What I said, but shorter with a bit more swearing.
The X-rated versions. What happens when you get 70? So you like.
That's the absolutely lower league version.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I thought Kieran was here for a minute with all those swear words being dropped in. Oh dear. So yeah, there we go. Anything else on Everton? Any other positive news, Rebecca? Any other transfer rumours of Everton that you've heard? Fabrizio tweeted something in the last 2 minutes.
I think Calvin Phillips is like a big one that's linked with us. I think he'll
That'd
be a good.
Great signing.
Him under Dash should be something different. I think if Dash can get him playing like we know Calvin Phillips can play, he'll be a great replacement for Amadou Onana in that position. And I feel as though him and Doucouré linking up would be dangerous. So if we can make that happen, because I think that's a loan. So then we'll have him and Jack Harrison on loan. I am so happy with getting Jack Harrison back.
Another Leeds link.
Yeah,
Leeds. Constant Leeds. That's going to be the key. Oh, there we go. I think that's it. Anything else, Shah, before we go to nothing else to drop?
I don't think so.
Any left field transfers from nowhere, just a last minute job.
And I know in the chat before we were mentioned obviously about Kasper Schmeichel going to Celtic, was it? That'd be quite good. Obviously, I cover, don't I? Big Shanks hasn't been linked to any Premier League clubs either. I'm quite disappointed.
He scored in a friendly the other day against Spurs because he's just that class.
He could go to Everton. Big Shanks, Rebecca. Lauren Shanks.
You could have Big Shanks and then have Cauliflower in midfield. Shanks and Collie. That would be the ultimate.
Barry from EastEnders.
Barry Cauliflower setting up Big Shanks. Written in the stars. Written in the stars. But thank you guys for joining me chatting Premier League. It's been nice not to kind of have to dwell on England.
Sorry, I'm laughing. Imagine I'm match of the day. The commentator of that game. Cauliflower to Big Shanks. I'm sorry.
Barry Cauliflower softened one into Big Shanks. Stuck it in the top corner.
He shoots and he scores.
Cauliflower. They're calling Cauliflower the new Kevin De Bruyne. I've heard. Is the
yeah.
I feel like the new Aguero one, but just cauliflower.
Cauliflower. Oh dear. There is quickly rumours on Manchester City's charges. Apparently, the court case is supposed to go ahead near the end of this year. We will see. We will see what happens with that.
And you know what they'll get? Nothing.
Yeah, it will be a naughty boy slap on the wrist, and they'll be in detention for a couple of days.
I don't know, do you not reckon? Because a lot of these players and people like higher up are jumping ship, and they're saying this could be Pep's last season. Something could be happening.
I think I was going to save this to the prediction show, but I don't think it's going to last that long. Because I think stuff's starting to come out. I've been umming and ahhing whether to put Arsenal to win the league, because look at the bookies' relegation odds, and they've got Manchester City and Chelsea. They've got Manchester City at 14-1, which is like 9th. And you're thinking the bookies don't often put something in without kind of and they're usually on the pulse. 14. There is no way without a points deduction Manchester City are ever getting relegated. They're going to have to do something. But I was thinking of this scenario really. Imagine they give Manchester City a points deduction, which, let's be honest, we're not going to agree with it's going to be enough, because 115 charges, it should be the everything chucked at them. But if this scenario happened, how much pressure would that put on Arsenal to then go and win the league?
I know.
Because they'd be like that. I think suddenly they go from underdogs to can you topple them to, well, they've just taken 10, 15 points off Man City. It's yours now. How they would handle that?
They still bottle it. United had won it.
Yeah, Lenny Yoro finally becomes my favourite Lenny over Lenny Henry. Never thought Lenny Henry would ever be topped as my favourite Lenny. We've now got a possibility. But there we go. We'll leave it on that. That will be a story that will run and run during the season, no doubt. But I've had two fantastic guests, neither of which I hope have got any charges against them. Any court cases coming up at the end of the year. Maybe. We'd have to see. There's a few Thursdays between now and then.
Exactly. Claire's on with me most weeks, so it won't be because of me, it'll be Claire.
Dragging us in. Charlotte, where can everybody find you for fantastic football content?
Yeah, so I am SharXRAFC. That is on Twitter. It's on TikTok. It's on Instagram as well, but I am having a bit of a social media break at the minute, so I'm not very active on them. It's just football content. I'm hopefully going to be getting back into my football blogging as well. I did a lot of it when we did the matchday programme, Rochdale, and it's something I do want to get back into, so hopefully fingers crossed. And then obviously you can find me on Thursday for Absolutely Lower League.
Fantastic, Absolute Lower League, which we will be coming back to in a moment because there's lots going on with Lower League. And Rebecca, where can everybody find you? Rebecca Undershaw, where can we find the Undershaws?
Well, hiding in a corner until the transfer window's done and we keep Mikalenko. Yeah, so you can find me here, which is _Rebecca_Shaw_. Don't know why I put so many in when I made it, but here we are. And then you can find my F1, F2, F3 content with Girls in the Grandstand, which I have just made my debut on the most recent podcast. And we have nearly hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. So if people would love to go and join the fun over there, then you're more than welcome.
Well, hey, get your F1 love from Rebecca's podcast and follow those guys. And if you want to follow me for whatever reason, I am at Absolute. I don't know if I even put it on. That's not even my tagline I've put on there. I've just made one up. That's not even my tagline I've written down there. Just been on there.
Come rogue.
I'm just literally like doing what I like over the summer.
He does what he wants.
Does what he wants. Tags what he wants. I am. What am I now on that? I'm Sam Absolute FBL. I am on Twitter. I do as well have the YouTube channel come up, Sam Absolute EFL, where I'm going to be talking EFL football because I have no horses in that race. I don't care who wins. I love them all. So I'm going to do I've got some preview shows on each Championship, League One and League Two coming out from the 1st of August. And I'll be doing weekly kind of match reviews and what's going on in those divisions. So please check that out for me on the YouTube. And of course, the main channel, the main one, the one that everybody needs to get on board with and follow, the Absolute Football Podcast. We are on Twitter at Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube and Twitch, Absolute Football Podcast, on TikTok at Absolute Football Pod, Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast _, and on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. On Thursday, we're going to be debuting on Instagram Live as well, because we suddenly found out we can. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to press the button and see what happens when we go Instagram Live.
We won't get cancelled, will we, because of my team?
Who knows? We'll Don't
see.
Know. And Lucy said, I checked to make sure I was following you. So I was like, what? That doesn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Made it up on the fly. That wasn't the plan. I'll put my name in properly next week. I'll sort it out. But of course we do have, and I haven't put the graphic up because I hadn't loaded it up. So I'll see if I've got it quickly. If not, I'll just talk about it anyway. We are, of course, the EFL. The EFL is back in a big way. No, I don't have the graphic. I'll stick it up on you can see it on the Twitter. 3 big weeks of EFL show. Do you want to tell everybody what we're doing? Because EFL is coming back and it's starting this Thursday.
It is, and I'm so excited because even though we have had stuff to talk about, we've obviously had Euros chat, there's been transfers, but it's coming back, and obviously we are covering the EFL Championship, League One and League Two. So this week it will be our preview show on the EFL Championship, League One and League Two. So we'll be talking like any transfers, what have happened over the summer, any departures, obviously managerial changes, and just kind of a bit of a preview who we think's been our like top signing of the season so far and things like that. The week after will be our National League preview, which will be the National League North and National League South, because we are now covering them leagues. So similar to what I've just said, but obviously for those leagues. And then the week after, I'm not hosting, but our fabulous Sam is hosting. And a bit similar to what we do on our Premier League show, where we do predictions, but for all of the leagues. And we just kind of guess who will win each league, the playoffs, relegation. And then we'll come back to them, obviously, at the end of the season and see if any of us did get any right. So that should be interesting. But yeah, it's always a good laugh as well. So please do that. And I also just wanted to mention as well, obviously, our Uncle Nick, bless him, at the minute isn't very well. So he's going to be taking a little bit of a step back at the minute just to recover, because he's not in the best of health at the minute. So I just wanted to say that we love you, Uncle Nick, and we're wishing you a speedy recovery.
Yeah, 100%. Get well soon, Uncle Nick. We're all thinking of you. And you are, of course, podcast family. So he's still, and hopefully we'll be able to bring Uncle Nick back on soon when he's feeling better. And the final thing before we do go as well, Fantasy Premier League is going to be back. It's going to be back this season. I think, actually, Danny won it last year from lower league. Danny, I think, got enough points to win our Fantasy Premier League. Lucas up there. I think I was up there as well, actually. I had a decent season. Sharp forgot for a period, yeah. But you did further than Josh did. I think Josh got about to week 2, so he's promised he's going to try and he's going to try and get to at least a quarter of the season. So if we can keep Josh involved in fantasy football until about October, we'll have done well this season. But if you want to join, there is the join code there, which if you're listening on audio is 8Q1F2B. Go and join our fantasy football league. We'll keep putting this up weeks before the season. And yeah, funny football names as well. I'll post that on Twitter, because remember we did that on Lightbite, didn't we?
Yeah, set your Alexa off.
Yeah, set my Alexa off talking about, I can't even remember what song that was.
Cry me a river plate. It was play river plate.
Cry me a river, yeah. Go off again. Scared to say it now. So yes, do short the fantasy football out. But for now, thank you everybody. Everybody in the chat, absolutely brilliant. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's so many of you. I don't want to miss anybody else. So thank you everybody who's joined us. We are, of course, back on Wednesday with the Absolutely WSL show, and we are back on Thursday with the EFL preview show. But until then, enjoy your summer. Have a great time. I hope cauliflower signs for you, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.